Sky Dancers, April Blossom's Wedding by Alexandra Reid. Designed and illustrated by John and Anthony Gentile, Lewis Henry Mitchell, and Joe Schettino. Primrose's older sister, April Blossom, was getting married. Primrose was going to be the maid of honor, and her good friends, Hollyberry, Christabel, and Ivy Rose, were going to be bridesmaids. The night before the wedding, Primrose woke up. "Is that rain I hear?" she thought as she flew outside to look at the sky. The wedding was going to be outside, so rain would be a disaster. But the sky was clear and full of twinkling stars. "You should go to sleep so you're not tired tomorrow," said April Blossom, who was on her way to bed. "Even the night before your wedding, you're still trying to give me advice, big sister," Primrose laughed. "Well, you never listen to me anyway, little sister," said April Blossom. "But I have one piece of advice for you that I want you to promise to remember always." "What is it?" asked Primrose. "If it is to be, it's up to me," said April Blossom. "Just believe in yourself, and anything can happen." "If it is to be, it's up to me," repeated Primrose. "I promise to remember." The two sisters hugged each other and went to bed. The wedding day was sunny and warm. All morning Primrose flew about, helping to set up chairs, arrange flowers, and decorate the house. "I almost forgot to water the roses," she said as she glided to the bower of roses in the garden where April Blossom would exchange vows with her bridegroom. Then it was time to get ready. Hollyberry, Christabel, and Ivy Rose arrived to change into their bridesmaid dresses. The dresses were laid out on Primrose's bed. They were beautiful. The colors sparkled and shone in the sun, and each dress had a flouncy skirt and a sash around the waist, and they had shoes with bows on top that matched the sashes. After they had put on their dresses, the bridesmaids helped one another put flowers in their hair. "Let's put some ribbons on our wings, too," said Christabel. So they tied shimmery ribbons to their wings in little bows. "Now we look perfect," said Primrose. Primrose flew into April Blossom's room. April Blossom had just finished dressing. "You look so beautiful," said Primrose to her sister. "I may look nice on the outside, but I'm nervous inside," said April Blossom. "What if I trip? What if I spill something on my dress? I just want to stay inside my room." Primrose knew just what to say. "April Blossom, remember what you told me. If it is to be, it's up to me." April Blossom smiled. "Well, I'm glad you listened to some of the things I say to you." "Only the important things," Primrose answered. The sisters laughed. By this time, all the guests had arrived, and it was time for the wedding to begin. The music started, and Hollyberry glided down the aisle. Ivy Rose was next. Christabel was just about to follow Ivy Rose when she turned to Primrose. "Where's your bouquet?" she whispered. "Oh, no!" cried Primrose. "What did I do with it?" She looked around frantically as Christabel began gliding down the aisle. Then Sky, Primrose's puppy, came bounding out of April Blossom's room with the bouquet in his mouth. "Thank you, Sky," said Primrose as she took the bouquet and began floating down the aisle after Christabel. At the bower of roses, Primrose joined the other bridesmaids and watched April Blossom come down the aisle. "She looks so lovely," sighed Ivy Rose. "The prettiest bride ever," said Primrose, who felt like crying but decided to smile instead. Then the ceremony was over, and everybody was kissing and hugging the new couple. "Congratulations, April Blossom," said Primrose. "No matter how big you get," said April Blossom, hugging Primrose tight, "you'll always be my little sister." After dinner, the dancing began. First, the bride and groom twirled and whirled to the beautiful music. Then everyone flew up to dance the minuet. "I wonder who I'm going to marry," said Primrose, as she and the bridesmaids danced around the garden. "Maybe he's here at this wedding," teased Holly Berry. "Maybe that's him right there." She pointed to a boy from school she knew Primrose had a crush on. He waved at Primrose. "Maybe so," said Primrose, waving back. "You never know what can happen." When the minuet ended, April Blossom's wedding cake was brought out. It was a magnificent cake, baked in the shape of Queen Skyla's royal palace. Primrose fed a piece to Sky when no one was looking. Soon it was time for the couple to leave. As they stepped into a swan-drawn sleigh, Primrose and the other bridesmaids threw rose petals and glimmer dust at them. "Goodbye," Primrose called, waving to April Blossom and her husband as the sleigh flew up and out of sight. The guests spun off one by one. Primrose and her friends, who were staying over for the night, tumbled into bed. "I wonder what we're all going to do when we grow up," asked Ivy Rose. "Do you think we'll get married?" asked Christabel. "If I get married," said Holly Berry, "I just hope my wedding is as nice as April Blossom's." "Do you think you'll get married, Primrose?" asked Christabel. Primrose thought for a moment. "I don't know," she finally said, "but what I do know is that if it is to be, it's up to me." All the sky dancers nodded. "And what I want to do now is go to sleep." Everyone laughed, and soon they were sound asleep, dreaming of all the wonderful things that were to come.